Welcome guys to the fourth round of the Open. Today I was playing again below, but as you can see by the result I won. So I finally got through the first part of the tournament, which is when you just get paired below your rating, constantly. And tomorrow I'll already have a game with someone rated higher than me. Okay, so I saw that he always played the Sicilian. But of course, I come to the board and he plays 1 e5. So I literally didn't see anything there. But from the games that I saw, like in the database, which were not that many, but he plays this classical Sicilian. And okay, I was going for this, but he played e5. Okay, I thought for a little bit about the line that I was going to employ. Okay, the first thing is that the Spanish is just much superior to the Italian. That's not even a discussion. So I usually just go for the Spanish. And here, okay, there's a lot of lines. I can go for 5d3. I can try to go for 6d3. Um, and yeah, I decided to go for 5d3, which is the so-called Anderson variation. Um, which, yeah, from what I know, like has less venom than like other lines like 6d3, which I think is the Martinez variation. Um, like here, this is supposed to be like theoretically more challenging, I think, but okay, it doesn't really matter, right? We just get a game, and if you know if our opponent doesn't know 30 moves of theory, like we'll just get a normal game. So he played this bishop c5 move, which I haven't ever seen like in this particular order because like it's a normal looking move. But the thing is that against b5 first, which is what they usually do, and then bishop c5, white usually is delaying castling and going for these things with knight c3 and knight d5, and has some ideas to attack with bishop g5 and so on. But the way he played it, this bishop c5 immediately, uh, the thing with knight c3 is that he castles, and now I don't really have knight d5. At least that's what I thought in the game, because he just takes and goes like knight d4 or something. Um, and the thing is that, yeah, as mentioned, like I don't want to castle in the lines with bishop c5, at least like this early. So I was a bit at a crossroads here, and I didn't know what to do. Like, if bishop g5, I also didn't really like these things with g5. Like, the sacrifices are really far from working because he just has bishop e7. And yeah, I considered this, for example, for a little bit, but my king is still in the center, so I just thought that this can't be good at all. So this move took me a little bit by storm. Like, I know that it's not one of the most popular moves. I mean, usually black is playing d5 before doing any of this, but I don't know. I was also thinking, by the way, about something like this, like takes, and takes, and this I believe is possible because I have this motif with bishop e3, unless I'm just missing something. Um, but still, I didn't think this was so interesting. Uh, it just looks like a draw already. So, okay, I ended up going for c3. But the problem with this is that, first of all, this looks a lot like another line, um, which is this one. I can quickly put it on the board. This one with bishop c5, of course, it's very similar. c3, b5, and now there's bishop b3 or bishop c2. And this looks a lot like this line where black goes d5, like for this early d5, and then white takes or goes d4. I can't even recall now. I don't remember the theory here, but it looks a lot like this line, but white has already committed to playing d3, which in some cases, like in the game, was sort of a waste of time. So I don't know what I could have done there. I need to investigate this move order a bit deeper because I couldn't figure out over the board like what I was supposed to do. Okay, castles. Now I was spending a lot of time around these moments thinking about bishop g5, especially when he put the bishop on a7. Like bishop g5 is really appealing, but I still don't think it works because he literally just goes back where he came from. So okay, I just went for some move, h3, he went h6, and now d4, d6, and we basically have a main line like Archangel, um, which is this system where black puts the bishop on c5, um, and it's basically just the Spanish put the bishop on c5, um, and yeah, it looks a lot like the main line of that, but I'm sort of down a tempo because I didn't play d4 in one go, right? I played d3 and then d4. He also put the bishop on b6. I think he should have. I mean, he put it on a7. I think he should have played bishop b6, which is what they do in that line. But okay, whatever. So I decided to play without a4. Well, at least for now. I went bishop e3, and I'm just trying to consolidate the center. So knight d2, and now he went really, really astray with this move, knight b8. Okay, so this was really bad. He should have probably taken or bishop b7 immediately. Not sure whether it makes a difference. Um, but usually black takes and then finds some counterplay with like knight b4 or knight a5. For example, here I would have played maybe not sure if I would have went for a4 or like rook e1, probably rook e1, but already there's takes knight b4, which I have to watch out for. I was also considering like this possibility, for example, giving up this bishop, which usually is a bit taboo, but also trading off this one. I was considering these possibilities, but I'm guessing it should be around equal. But he played knight b8, okay, which is just really not in the spirit of the position. I mean, maybe he was mixing up like the another variation in the Ruy Lopez, which with the bishop on e7, which is the briar, where black can do this with knight b8. But here it's just like a mix of plans that don't go well together. So a4, and here I almost won on the spot because I'm pretty sure he blundered this like after a b5. He blundered that he cannot take back on b5 because I have rook a7. It also took me a while to find this, but here I'm just winning two pieces for the rook, which is usually a great deal. And you know the position is full of life, and white can probably try to open up lines and go for an attack. So like the advantage here should be very large. He took on d4, and here I spent a lot of time because I can just take back, that's fine, where he'll take on b5, and I'll probably have a nice advantage because, again, the knight here, this maneuver is just too slow in this position, and I can try and pressure the b5 pawn. But then I noticed that I had this idea with b takes a6, which I started to calculate, and I'm quite happy with the calculations that I made in the game, and I believe they're correct. I haven't checked it with an engine or anything, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it works. Like I still couldn't find anything for him. So bishop a6 is the critical line. If he takes with the knight, I would have just taken here with the bishop, I think, or with the knight. What was I going to do? Or with the pawn, maybe? Okay, now all of a sudden I can't remember. Um, but probably with the bishop, and I think there was some problem in the end with the like the pieces just being hanging like some rook a6. But then there's rook d4 in the end. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure, but some move order here I feel like should grab me some material. Maybe something with knight c6 can work. Not sure, but I'm pretty sure here that white should be winning material with some move order. Here at bishop a6, and now this was the main point. Like I'm giving up an exchange because the rook and the bishop are hit. But yeah, what I saw is that I can take here. He has to take the rook immediately because if he takes first, Then his bishop is pinned, so he takes. And he goes for this c5. So one thing is that if knight c6, which is very natural, attacking the bishop, defending this one, I get rid of it and we go bishop a4. And there's no way to save the knight, right? d5 I just take, and it's pinned to the rook. And so he goes for c5, where I take, and now like I saw from afar I saw e5, which I thought won. Then closer to the position, I saw that bishop b3 was just simpler, and I thought that like worst case scenario, I have a lot of positional compensation, especially if it took here with the pawn, which was slightly more like maybe it was more challenging. Well, at least in terms of calculation from afar, because the difference is that now he's putting the queen on d7 to hold it. But yeah, eventually I saw that unsurprisingly, like I'm just gaining a lot of material here. So he took with the queen. Okay, bishop b3. Now the problem is that again, this is like it just works concretely. But the problem is that bishop d5 is coming, and he either gets into another pin, from which he will not be able to get out of actually with rook a6, like he's pinned like everywhere, or he goes for knight d7, which I saw that okay, this is just completely winning because I'm up a pawn and the bishop is horrible. Well, and that's pretty much it. And he's also pinned, like everything works great for me. Now, the only thing that I didn't like about this game so much is that, um, you know, around these moments, I was taking maybe a little bit too much time, and I just feel like in these positions, you have to try to convert as smoothly as possible and not get low on the clock, because then, a lot of randomness can happen when you have no time. But I do think that I never really made a mistake. I never let him off the hook. Okay, so here he wants to go d5 to go for some activity. I start with this move that forces him to go to off the e file, because of ideas with rook a8. And now this move knight f1, which I also liked. And basically I'm just keeping the knight here. So I could go for g3 in these positions, which is also fine, of course, but I wanted to weaken my king side well, not weaken my king side as much as possible. So he goes for f5. Again, I was taking, some time with these moves because, I wanted to avoid all of the counterplay that I could. Okay, I take, and he goes for d5. So eventually, I saw this idea that I can go rook a8, rook f8, and now this queen b3 move was nice, I think. Because the point is that unlike queen c4, I stop king f7. So like this, I thought could give him some hope. Probably not that much, but if he gets the pawns rolling, it's something. He probably won't be able to do that, right? But we want to be as clean as possible. So here he cannot go queen f7 due to rook b8, and if he goes c4, this probably just helps me a lot because now the pawns are really weak. I'll still go queen d5. So I just want to get the queen to d5 really. But he goes d5. Now I also think I found like a nice move, which is this rook a5. Of course, when you're winning, like many moves are good, but still, you need to find a way forward. Rook a5, so I'm hitting this pawn. It's not that easy to defend. He went rook c8 immediately, which was quite surprising. And now already I'm 2 pawns up, right? And he has a passive position. This knight is not going anywhere. So I decided to open up his king. f6. Yeah, at this point he can pretty much resign. Queen d3, rook d6, and the final knockout, let's say, is this queen b3, and then trades in queen b7. And he finally resigned because he cannot defend both the mate and the bishop, and also the threat of this pawn queening, for example, like bishop c7, queen e4, and if g6, there's queen e7, and then I make a new queen, and if king g8, it's pretty much the same thing, right? So what he had to do was just take on f6, take on b8, and this is just completely lost. The knight easily blockades the pawn. Okay, so this was a pretty smooth game, honestly. I'm not. Uh, I really like this piece of calculation that I did with b takes a6, which is not that obvious at first sight, right? Giving up this exchange. Also because it wasn't necessary, but I really think it was good. And yeah, I need to refine my move orders here in the opening. But it was a nice game. And tomorrow, yeah, I'll get a tougher opponent, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, it's a bit late here already. It's like 1 a.m. So I'll see you guys with the next recap.